Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. It's a glorious sunny day here in the UK on a bank holiday Monday. From her hotel room, preparing for her conference, which starts this Wednesday, is Ellie Whitehead, who's the Senior Conference Manager for Terrapinn, for Future Labs, which starts officially with the exhibition on the 31st of May, running till June the 2nd, but they do have workshops running on the 30th of May as well, which have sold out. Ellie just mentioned to me before we started this call. So we're going to find out a bit more about Future Labs, what people can expect to find if they attend this week. And if you haven't signed up yet, you still can, because there's still a few days left and it's free. So the link will be above the video so you can do that as well. So Ellie, first of all, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, it's a very sunny day here in Basel as well. I landed about 20 minutes ago.
Well, you've done very well to get to the hotel in 20 minutes. I've got to say that it's very good. All right, well, it normally takes me about an hour to come and get in the bus and everything. But anyway, that's another story. Look, I'm glad to see that you got to Basel safely. Now, before we talk about the actual event, for people who are not familiar with Future Labs, can you just give a quick overview, a bit of a history of Future Labs and who it's targeted to and what sort of topics it normally covers?
So Future Labs is actually a fairly new event. We're now in its fourth year. It started, unfortunately, during COVID times. So we have had two virtual events, but we managed last year to finally get in person in Basel. We had around 900 attendees, and for this year, we're just looking to sort of build on that. And as you mentioned, it's a 3-day event running from the 31st of May to the 2nd of June. So the event sort of looks at how we can break down silos. We're looking at promoting sort of open, connected communities who are looking to help accelerate labs and question the norm, really. And in terms of who it's targeted to, we try to target the whole lab ecosystem. So whether that's from C-suite VPs down to sort of individuals on the benches, so your lab managers, your scientists, engineers. We are also a sort of agnostic event in terms of industry, so not restricted to life science, but also more chemical, material, fast-moving consumable goods, agricultural companies, effectively so that we're an event, if you are involved in labs, this is relevant for you. Yeah, in terms of topics as well, we've got a very broad range of topics. We've got sort of 10 key themes that run throughout, looking at automation, AI, data, etc.
Right. Now, you said that you started, interesting enough, during the pandemic, and you were digital first to events. So what I've found, speaking to a lot of people who have worked around digital transformation, and obviously the whole thing around labs of the future, is that the pandemic actually maybe brought labs more to the forefront in people's minds, because there was remote working. You couldn't get access to labs physically in many instances as well. And so labs of the future became more of a reality in some respects, if that makes sense, because people had to start thinking, well, actually, we've always been able to go into the lab, do everything manually, or have everything. Now, automation is great, obviously, that's really important, speeds things up, and consistency, but also we can't get into the lab. So how do we access the labs remotely as well? So from the point when you started 4 years ago in terms of topics to now, how has the emphasis changed and the topics changed for Future Labs?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you said, COVID has accelerated certain topics more than others. For example, in digital transformation is definitely a key one of those. And I think cloud-based labs as well definitely got more important and more needed. And I also think the security side of things as well, COVID gave a bit more of a chance for security to be needed more so. And as you say, sort of remote access, for example, as well, as definitely developed. I mean, not necessarily in terms of COVID, but we have brought in a few new topics this year. one of which is looking at smart facilities. So designing, developing, building the actual lab, and sort of how can we make it future-proof, make it resilient, for example. Another side as well that's new for this year is the training, development, and talent. So, you know, the people within the lab are so important, and we need to make sure that they are ready to use this new technology that we're bringing in if we're talking in terms of digital transformation. There's a really interesting panel that we've got that's looking at preparing students for work in an industry lab. And I think that would be a really interesting discussion as well.
Right, okay. Now, in terms of the speakers, who are some of the keynote speakers you've got? What are some of the plenary talks that you've got, which people should be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on. It's kind of hard to, you know, highlight just the key ones. But on the 31st of May, we've got a sustainability panel that is going to be head up by James Connolly from My Green Lab. He's the CEO there, and it's going to be talking about sustainability across the whole lab. So in terms of the people, the products, the processes, and the place. So hopefully sort of hitting quite a few key areas there. On the 1st of June, Ross King is going to be giving a keynote looking at AI, obviously a very important topic at the moment, whether that's in labs or everyday life, really. And his is sort of looking at, you know, AI is the future, so let's embrace it, let's get on board with it, which I think should be really interesting. And then on the final day, we've got a panel that's looking into the future. It's sort of fitting to be having a future-looking panel to close the end of the session, and sort of looking at what do we anticipate that the future will look like, and you know, how can we get there? You know, what needs to be put in place? Is it data standards, collaboration, connectivity, etc. So that'll be a really interesting session.
Brilliant. Now, you have an exhibition running alongside it, don't you, at Future Lab? So how many exhibitors do you have? And also, you also have a startup zone running alongside that, correct?
Yes. So we have 100 exhibitors, sort of ranging from your world-leading suppliers. We've got Siemens, are our title sponsor. They're bringing a really exciting sort of lab to the floor, which I think will be definitely one of the highlights. And as you mentioned, we've got this startup zone, which has really developed in the last year. So we've got, I think it's around 65 startups attending, and they'll be showcasing their products and their business. But also quite nice for the startups, we've got another additional opportunity for about 20 of them to pitch their products. So they will have a 5-minute pitching slot to an audience and a panel of judges who will then decide 5 finalists for a second pitch and then a winner, which is really exciting. And I think that will definitely be something to watch. That will be sort of within the exhibition area, so very accessible.
Cool. And apart from the exhibition and the talks, what else are you doing as an organizer to get people engaged and sort of talk to each other at the event?
Yeah, so I mean, I think obviously, as you said, we've got the exhibition area, we've got the talks, but we also have interactive roundtables, which are a sort of different style of session. And I think they're really interesting because it's a way to get individuals together to sort of brainstorm ideas or challenges that the industry is having with your peers. So it's a bit more of a interactive session. We also have drinks reception, which is great to catch up with colleagues and meet new ones. We've got one on the 31st, which is off-site, and then we've got another one on the 1st, which will be in the exhibition area, which is hosted by Siemens. We also have our app, which is an amazing networking app. It facilitates you being able to go to these sessions and sign up for things beforehand. But you can also connect with people, arrange one-to-one meetings, and just sort of, it has everything you'd need for the event in one place.
Great. And that's called Swap Card, people. If you have registered, you should be registered already. You can just use it. It's very, very easy to use. I use it all the time. So please access that as well. All right. Now, one other thing I wanted to ask was, obviously you mentioned at the very beginning that you started out as a digital event, obviously, and now got back to in person when the opportunity arose. How much of the content is available either live virtually or post-event available on demand?
So in terms of on demand, we're asking all speakers whether they'd be happy to provide PDF copies with them. So all of those will be shared with the attendees after the event.
Right, but there's no sort of concurrent virtual element to the event?
No, I mean, we are trying to make it as, you know, in person as possible, and really encourage people to be there face to face. You know, one of the great things about the event is the networking, as you mentioned, and I think we want to encourage everyone to be there in person and sort of get involved with the networking.
Cool. You're not the only one who does that, Ellie. I've got to say, everyone's gone down that route. So I wasn't trying to catch you out, but I just wanted to understand what people might be thinking about that. Oh, that's fine. Brilliant. All right. So one final question. There are so many events out there which are focusing on lab of the future, smart lab, paper labs. I mean, I attend most of them anyway. So, but there are so many of them out there. So why should people come to Future Labs this week?
So I think Future Labs Live addresses the whole lab ecosystem, as I've sort of mentioned a few times. And I think it's relevant for many people that work within labs. I also think the breadth of topics that we have, as I mentioned, there are 10 of them, sort of scale across such a large area that it is relevant to so many people. And it means you can also dip in and out of different sessions. I also think, you know, the startup zone is a really sort of exciting, innovative place to be at, especially the pitches as well. So I think it's really trying to, you know, be as an inclusive event as possible, and it has a place for everyone. You know, I think, as I said, we've got the roundtables and the drinks receptions, and it's also free, which is a great added bonus.
Well, look, thank you for that. Well, look, I hope it all goes well. I know it doesn't, well, you've got your workshops tomorrow, so I hope they go really well. And I'll hopefully see you in person nice and early on the 31st. I fly in tomorrow evening, and so I will see you then, all being well. So there you go, viewers. If you are at Future Labs, there was a quick preview of what you can expect. The link is above the video, which shows you more about the agenda, and you can see all the topics in the post above. If you haven't registered, why not? If you're in Basel, it's really easy. It's free. You can just pop in for the day, even if you can't make it for all 3 days. Registration is free. Again, the link is above the video. You can click on that and you can sign up. So Ellie, it's lovely to see you. Have a great event. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. And viewers, hopefully I may see you on Wednesday as well, as I'll be there for one day. So maybe we can have a chat then. All right, well, so until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, Rizwan. Thanks.